With the 2020 Release 1 version of OpenRoads Designer, Bentley has added the ability to define our profile vertical curve annotations using dimension lines. So here's an example of how a profile vertical curve in a crest situation will be annotated using the OHDOT CAD standards that were released on May 1st, 2020. Now this could result in a problem. After the May 1st, 2020 update, you could see duplicate annotations for the vertical curve information in the profile drawing model when you clip your sheets. So here's what I mean by the duplicate annotations. I've got two sets of annotations for my vertical curve information. So let's take a look at why that's happening. So the new annotation definitions are defined as part of the profile drawing model annotation. And in prior releases, the vertical curve annotations were defined as part of the profile linear feature annotation. So these are defined in two different locations. So what we want to do is clean up that linear feature annotation to remove those old annotation definitions that we no longer need. So again, this is introduced with the May 1st, 2020 release of the OHDOT CAD standards. That's when the drawing model annotation was added to the feature definitions for our vertical curve data. And if your alignment was created before that release, your alignment data has the old linear feature definition assigned to it. And that's what results in our duplicate annotations. So what we're going to do is get rid of this group of annotations that are assigned to the linear feature definition. And the other thing we want to do is a vertical point of curvature, vertical point of tangency feature definitions. Those were redefined to move these up above along the dimension line. So we're also going to take care of that as well. So here's the steps that you need to take to do that. The first thing we need to do is update our standards from the DGN library in the name boundary design file. Then we want to update the standards from the library in the alignment design files. Then we need to remove some old annotation definitions from that profile feature definition in the alignment file. Then after that's done, we can go back to our drawing models for our sheets and remove the annotations that are in there and then re-annotate that. So let's go ahead and step through these. So I have a sheet design file and I can see the duplicate annotations that were generated. And one way I could clean those up is just go over to the drawing model for my profile and just physically delete these. And that's perfectly acceptable, and then move these where I want them. If you do that, though, if you ever have to re-annotate the model, you're going to get all the default annotations placed back where they started from. So the better way to handle this is to clean this up. So I'm going to go and open my collector file that has my name boundaries. So I have a GP000 design file. It's got my references for my sheets and my name boundaries for my plan and profile. So in this design file, the only thing I need to do is just update the standards from the library to make sure they're in sync. So what I'll do in my Explorer dialog under the OpenRoads Standards group, expand the standards and then click on my active file. These are the standards that are copied into the active file as part of the design process. I'm going to right click and choose Update Standards from DGN Live. So that just goes out and reads the standards from the OHDOT standards and makes sure the copy of those standards are in sync. Once I've done that, I'll just save the file and save settings. Next, I want to open the file that has my alignment. That's my BK001 design file. And I have a couple steps to do in this file. So again, in the Explorer dialog, OpenRoads Standards group, I'm going to expand the standards, expand my active file, and I want to expand the annotation groups. Looking at the profile, the linear definitions. So this is the feature that controls the annotation as it was defined prior to the 2020 release. And this has some old annotation definitions that we no longer need. So there's two things to do here. First, I should have picked the file itself, right-click and update standards from DGN Live, and that'll synchronize changes. But what it does not do is it does not remove some annotation definitions that we had removed. So those are still there. So I need to manually remove those. So I'll come down to this profile annotation and right-click and choose the Manage option. Now, the first time you open this, it's definitely a bit slow. And there's a display checkbox here that I'm going to turn off, and that'll speed up working with this dialog. So you want to make sure you turn that off. So the annotation definitions have been synchronized, at least for the ones that have been modified. But what the update from DGN Library does not do is it does not remove ones that we had removed. So I need to remove those. So there's some VPI station elevation, BPI length, station elevation and length for sag, for crest and sag. Those 4 need to be removed, and at the bottom of the list, the last 4 need to be removed. So to remove those, I'm just going to select that particular definition and use the remove icon. And I'll take out the parabola length for a crest. And I'll do the same thing for the station and a sag and length and a sag. And then I'll come down to the bottom of my list and take out the last 4, the stopping site distance and K-value annotations for crest and sag curves. So that's what we're looking for with those removed. So I'll go ahead and close the Manage Annotations, and I'll save the file, save settings. And just to review that, here's a screen capture of those annotations that I removed. So once those are removed, I'm going to go back to my sheet design file and re-annotate my drawing model. So I'll go ahead and open my sheet design file, change to the drawing model for my profile view. And in the Drawing Production tab, under Model Annotation, I'm going to choose Remove Model Annotations. And I'll go ahead and click to remove those annotations. And now I want to re-annotate the model. So I'll pick the Annotate Model command and go ahead and annotate this. So you should now see only the new annotations as they're defined using that drawing model annotation definition. Now in this particular example, I had used a new option in OpenRoads to clip my sheets into separate files. So I would need to go through and open each file and go ahead and re-annotate the profile model for each of my sheets. If you have any questions or problems cleaning this up, just let the CAD group know. We'd be happy to help you.